How's it going, folks? Now, yesterday I made a video about, NFT. Now, this worth 1,500 ETH. At the moment, one ETH costs 3,200 as we speak. I think it's going to go up 3,300 and 3,400. Now, ETH or whatever the cryptocurrency, it fluctuates, right? It is very volatile. And that being said, when you have like that, now, if I purchased this art, let's just say 5 months ago or 1 month ago, ETH was worth 2,500. If I purchased this art maybe like 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago, ETH was worth around 1,700 or 2,000. All right. Now, obviously, this value price will go down. Now, we've seen this art. Not saying anything bad about it. All right. It is what it is. So I'm just going to go through, Eminem has purchased this particular NFT, all right? This is the art, above. And he purchased it on 123 ETH, which worth 453,000. Now it's worth, after he purchased 9 months, it went down to 102,000. Now, with my client, that my rich cousin who offered me to take me to this Melbourne Art Fair. All right, so in February, and these are the arts that you get to see. Can be quirky, can be what sort of type it is. Now, I'm not an art person, and looking at this, ladies looking at a glory hole. It just it can be all sorts like that, and when you have like that, and obviously when I show these arts to like like that. That's an art as well. You got front and back as well. It has a different meaning, has a different side of it. But when I show these art to that particular family member who's selling his British colonial art in Australia, that's gonna worth maybe around like 10k, 12k, or 13 or 25, whatever how much it is. He's shocked to see this type of art that's gonna worth 1,000 or millions or billions or 100,000s, right? And obviously, the contemporary art, like you look at it, it's nothing good about it. And you also question the same thing with the modern painted art. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying bad about it, but it's just the fact that when I mention about, like, just for example, like Eminem's purchase, right? The fact that everyone can release as much of these photos. They can be rare, maybe this one batch or this one in the world or whatsoever. If there's too many saturated on the market, who do you pick and choose and say, this worth 5 million now? Like, if they want to resell it or whatever, like it's worth X amount of money. And it's like a JPEG. But what's the difference where I'm taking a screenshot right now, or people can print it off or whatever, and, to show it like that? Do I get copyright if I take a photo of a snippet and put it on my wall or on the business wall? Because it's so shareable to that stage where people won't track it down whose art and who, unless you are very, very professional, that you keep in mind with the NFT, right? Now, I'm not here to say good or bad about it, but what I'm trying to say is the fact that this is the world that we're into. And there was a YouTube channel that I've gone through and saying the fact that we're on a Bitcoin halving, which I think less than 3 weeks or whatever, right? And they've been telling me like the old projects that used to skyrocket in the past will not skyrocket this time. So what if we're saturated, let's just say 6 years after that, we're going to go back and look at this art again. Would it be at the same price, or would it devalue? Because if Eminem purchased one and it gone down to that, they even mentioned Logan Paul has purchased, I don't know, a couple $1 million, and now it's worth $10 or $20. Like, at the end of the day, like, I understand it's a rich man's toy. Like, I understand that people, do it for tax purpose. I'm not complaining, but the fact that there's no value, if this value can be volatile, and where it makes a laugh. It destroys the art scene where the physical art, where it's whether you know Mona Lisa that worth that much amount of money now has gone to this amount of money. Now the Mona Lisa one will always retain the price and always go strong. And even if you give another 100 years, it's still going to go strong. But what if you have a 3D printer and you mimic the same thing? You know, it's very difficult for me to see what is retainable or not. But obviously you can say that's the original artist who painted the original. This is the way his style, you know, X, Y, and Z. Okay, fair enough. That's original. But when you have an NFT like this, I'm pretty much can take a screenshot, you know, and the Ape Boat Yacht Club, you know, when many people think of all this art, it's just so simple. It doesn't have any value because it's just digital painting. Good for the artists who painted, but I think people nowadays is underestimate like the paint, the art, the details and everything. And obviously you don't really need to paint. You just be good at, you know, what you do on I don't know, the screen, whatever. But obviously it takes skills as well. But what I'm saying is that it's definitely killing the art scene. And I just gotta pause and I gotta show you guys. Actually, I can't. It's on my other phone. There was a particular art that sold $150,000 on the Melbourne Fair. It was a Chinese art. And obviously, you know, for me, I don't have any towards with it because I've been to China. I've seen many of those art. But then again, I'm not the type of person who criticize what's good and what's bad. But what I'm saying here is the fact that it's just so volatile. People are getting into it. And now kids in school are talking about NFTs. And I know it feels like you're on a Pokemon card deck that you purchased and you have 1 or 2 rare cards or shiny or Ys like that because X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. It's only one in the world, blah, 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 blah. Right? But when you have this NFT, this is like the world, like, pretty much can screenshot on their phone. It's just a JPEG. I can just crop it up and I can put on the wall or whatever. You know, I can lie to everyone and say, I purchased it. I can, you know, crop all the email stuff and change it to where I am. Like, but it's just so amazing how people will get into that level.